Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. We are doing a reaction video today. I am looking at some of the things that you tag me in on social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, or send me my messages. Some weird things, some good things, some like what the things, and seeing what the deal is. As I always like to say in these videos, but do sometimes forget, creativity and individuality have no rules. However, makeup has a theory, and that's what we're looking at today. Sometimes what we see online doesn't always work in real life. It looks great on camera, works on camera, but yes. Okay, do consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up. Let's take a little look over this way at what's happening. We did this already. We've done this already. The thing is, right, okay, so there's a few things that people talk about makeup-wise online where it only makes sense looking at a camera or looking this way and this way. What people forget is you then go into the real world and different angles happen. People see you at different angles, different lighting situations happen, right? So when people are like, look, I have my under eyes are completely not hollow anymore because of a powder. Wait till you step under a light or a light's under you here. It's gonna show. What looks good on camera, what looks good directly facing forward isn't a real life situation. Is that a useful hack? No, not really. Does it make your eyes look lifted on camera? Kind of, but also not really here because the liner is so black and dark that's what makes the eye look lifted, and then this like inside corner in comparison. But then you think about the structure of your eye, right? So your lashes are meant to be on your top lash line up, unless you're using bottom lashes. If we think about the structure of our eye, say we're just putting our lashes on a normal lash line, what's all this dark underneath? What's all that for? Like, what would be dark underneath? You know what I mean? I mean, if you were to fill that in with maybe like a few corner lashes underneath, maybe, but it doesn't, just because something's going up at that angle, it doesn't mean your lashes also have to go up at that angle either. It's just a very strange concept, and it just wouldn't work so great in real life. Okay, let's see what, I know this guy's name is Bennett already.
Hi, my name is Bennett. This is my controversial makeup routine that goes against every single thing these influencers teach you and also looks good in pictures.
Let me just stop you right there. Controversial, in my opinion, would be going with what a lot of influencers teach you.
Starting off by forgetting and skipping out completely on primer. This is the marketing gimmick. This will break you out and you do not need it.
Not true 100%, but also kind of true. People have different reactions depending what primer it needs. Makeup products will break you out if you have an allergic reaction or you don't wash it off properly. Remember that. But also some ingredients like some silicons can make you a little bit itchy. You may get a little bit scratchy and you may get some things there, but primers don't always break you out. Also, you don't always need primers. Primers I always consider like a band-aid or a plaster, depending where you are in the world. Use it when and if you need it.
Try priming your skin with a lightweight basic moisturizer. Next, applying setting spray for a smooth, blurred, and clean canvas to start.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt this one as we go because there's going to be a lot to go for. Skincare is the best primers, right? Unless you need something extra sticky that day or you want something extra matte. Hyaluronic acid serum, I don't care what it is, gives the perfect bounce to the skin. Where's my Tear's Milk Primer. That milky primer, milky toner makes a great primer, the way it leaves the skin. The Dauber Serum Spray, done, great primer. You know what I mean? Primers, for me, do something to the skin tone and the skin texture. And those things help even it all out. Unless it's a drastic day, like your pores are extra wide and maybe you need a pore filling primer, then go for it. Setting spray before foundation, 100% absolutely I think is the best way to use a setting spray.
I actually blend this out using a jade roller because it gives me such a smooth and seamless complexion. It genuinely is unreal. I know that seems insane, but just watch as I blend. And I love this technique of application as well around the forehead because it lets you be really precise so you don't get any sort of makeup in your hairline.
But you can kind of see it wasn't actually blending that well. It was actually skipping over a few areas. Foundation isn't a layer on top of your skin. A jade roller isn't going to help as much as it seems like it's doing it. We can see it doesn't help push that foundation into your skin. You don't want your makeup to be sitting as a layer on top of your skin. It needs to be buffed, pushed, pressed into the skin, right? Jade rolling is not, and that's something influencers taught us that was really gimmicky.
Rolling.
It's also going to take
Blending
forever.
out those harsh lines around my under eyes. And once it's all blended out, you get a really full
That's
coverage
not
and
blended.
smooth base. And
It's not blended. You can see it's just sitting on top of the skin. If you were to do this on the skin, it's coming straight off.
I haven't even said this yet. For under eye concealer, it's near impossible to use this technique, so I do just blend these out with a brush. Set my under eyes before the rest of my face, and I just take light powder on a flat brush and just press this in until any sort of lines and texture disappear. And I also set my eyelids as well, since I place concealer here too. Setting the rest of my face normally, but not
You know how I feel about concealer on the eyelids.
scraping and stippling in instead, so I don't remove unset makeup. Now
Okay, why is your makeup not set? Though, why is your makeup not pre-set? Like, your foundation, setting your foundation isn't always with powder, right? You can make sure you don't have to wear powder at all. I haven't got powder on my forehead here, but it's not going to come off when I touch it, because what I've done, well, tiny bit, but not crazy, because what I've done is made sure that when I applied it, it was pushed into my skin and part of my skin. You know what I mean? It's not a layer. When you put powder on top of something that isn't properly blended into the skin, the powder congeals with that product, and it's not going to set it really. It's not going to make it like, it's going to make a strange texture that's then going to come separate and away from the skin.
base is set, take note of a few things. There's absolutely zero makeup in my hairline. My base is so smooth and so blurred, and it wasted no product and still gave me such a seamless complexion, which also saved me money. The less product that you use, the slower you're left to go to the store and buy it again. I use warm tone bronzer in place of a cool tone contour, and I tend to just take this and apply this with a fan brush. And I don't push this back into my hairline like most of us would. I leave a little space in between my forehead and in between my hairline. And now to bridge that gap between the bronzer and my hairline, I take a much smaller tapered end brush and I just start lightly blending that out.
It's such a good idea. A makeup in the hairline is so obvious, and also when you leave a gap between your hairline and foundation, it's obvious too. He said he uses a warm tone bronzer in place of a cool tone contour. They're two different products, so
You can see this gives you such a nice blend
that do two different things. Sorry.
look without getting the bronzer into your hairline. It takes a little bit more work, but sometimes that little bit of
Also, can I just say, sorry, when you push a brush like this, when you have a brush like that and you're pushing it so much that the hairs are kind of like spreading out like this, it should be more light-handed. You shouldn't be applying so much pressure that your brush, that the metal part is almost going to touch your skin. Gentle.
effort is worth it. In the same bronzer and the same fan brush, I don't
Look at that fan brush. This is what happens when you push too hard on your brush. It's not a good thing. It misshapes your brush. All the hairs start to bend. If you were to look in that brush, I bet you there's hairs bending backwards. All the hairs start to bend inwards.
top of my cheekbone, I actually contour underneath it in circular motions to sculpt and define it more. Using the
That's what you're meant to do.
exact same technique, just blending this out in circular motions, but leaving a little space between the bronzer and between my ear. Taking the same brush, I'm just going to bridge that gap just a little bit without getting this bronzer into my hairline. I apply this
You can always wipe makeup off your hairline, so it's not a big deal.
This bit of bronzer closer towards the back of my cheekbone to slim my jaw out a little bit. As you can see, it already did the trick. And now if you look at this side, 1, there's no bronzer in my hairline, and 2, this side is way more sculpted than this side, as if I were to contour on top of my cheekbone. We'll never forget this step, but contouring above your cheekbone will give your face 10 times more of a lift than if you were to contour on top. Some people say this ages you, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but for me,
People say it ages you because it makes your face appear skeletal, right? So when we think of a skeleton's head, a skull, think of a skull, and think of where it's hollow. Thin eyebrows, for example, can give this like look of hollowness. Under the cheeks can give hollowness. I don't think it does. I think it looks really great. I think you should always be contouring underneath your cheekbone unless you're trying to change the structure of your face, which is what contouring is, or enhancing. So you could do it either way. I don't think it makes it look older.
the proof is right there. Another strange one, I love to apply my blush to the powder puff because it gives you such a nice blurring effect. Like, please look at that. Look at this side. It just gives you such a nice soft and diffused blush look.
I don't know if people confuse the term blurring with the term matte, because I wouldn't say it's blurred.
I process on this side. Don't knock it until you try it. The proof is right there. And I finish
it.
off by getting really precise with this pointed tip, and I just apply the slightest bit right above the brow bone. Another close-up on the base to show you these are actual and practical techniques. Now that blush is done, you can also apply your bronzer with a powder puff if you don't really care too much about precision. Lips, I line my lips like normal. Now to make my liner last all day long and to also waterproof it, I take a flat brush and a little bit of translucent.
Can I just say, if you have to set your lip liner because it's not waterproof, you're not using a good lip liner. A good lip liner should be water resistant, and you shouldn't have to set your lip liner. If you have to set a product that should be long lasting, you're not using the best version. And I don't mean the most expensive. You can be like, well, I use Chanel. It doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean it's long lasting. If you have to set your lip pencil, it's not a good lip pencil. Sorry, a good lip pencil, the only thing that should be able to break it down is oil, right? An oil-based product. So like when you remove waterproof mascara, waterproof products, so oil in your food is going to happen, but powder isn't going to stop oil from breaking that down. Oil will also break down powder. By the way, I know I sound really harsh. Their makeup looks great. I'm just saying.
And two ways to do this, you can either literally just apply a waterproof setting spray directly to your lip, or you can apply it directly to a brush and start pressing this onto the liner directly like we just did with that powder. Curling my lashes with the lash separating eyelash curler. Curl these one at a time so they don't lose hold, and then I go directly in with mascara to hold the curl. Again, with waterproof setting spray, I set this one more time just to make my lip liner last and also to really hold that curl in my lashes. I'm just applying brown liner and using this to tightline my upper lash line and my upper lash line only. Again, before I move on to the next eye, I'm taking another flat brush and a brown eyeshadow. Off the excess, I'm now just going to use this to set my eyeliner, add more pigment, and make it so it doesn't transfer and last all day long. Before I go on to set this tight liner.
So what breaks down, in the eyes, right, what breaks down eye makeup isn't, usually it's oils from the lid. That's why I don't use concealer on the lid, because concealer contains oils. Whether you set it or not, it's still going to come through. And most times in eyes, it's like fluid that comes from your eye normally. So powdering it, I'm not sure how much it's going to help. I'm sure it will help a little bit, but you can use more of a gel-based pencil that is longer lasting. Again, another product that you shouldn't really have to set if you find the right one for you.
Please look at the difference as to how much more intense this one is compared to this one. Now, just taking a Q-tip, I'm just going to wipe off that excess shadow that's transferred onto my lower lash line. Optional, but just finishing off the tiniest bit of translucent pressed powder. Don't knock these techniques until you try it. As you can see, my makeup is so smooth and so blurred, and all the blending is so seamless. I promise you, there is a method to my madness.
You're literally being scammed in the makeup world. The active ingredients in here are literally the exact same that are in your $30 primer, so we're gonna put it to the test. Hello everyone, welcome to my glow up series. We're getting freaking hot for summer, but on a budget. There's a creator on here, her name's Nina Poole, and she basically has autism, and one of her special talents is reading the ingredients on the back of makeup products and skincare. And she found out that this stuff was literally from the Dollar Tree. It's the exact same ingredients as $30 primers you can get from Sephora. First step, she said to moisturize with a normal moisturizer and then put the aloe vera gel on. Once it's on, literally do your entire makeup routine. Okay, we're about to get real close and personal because I want to show you. I haven't put setting powder on. Look, I literally have no makeup creases. There's literally barely any makeup creases underneath my eyes just from using aloe vera gel. And can we just talk about how freaking healthy it is for your skin? I suffer from acne and I have acne scarring. Aloe vera is really known to help your skin. So not only are you helping your skin by putting something healthy on it, you're also getting a 2-for-1 deal by being able to use it as a primer. Honestly, I see no cons in this 10 out of 10.
One thing to remember when you see similar products in different, one thing to remember when you see similar ingredients in products is they can be formulated differently and prepared differently, and there's loads of different things. So it doesn't always mean it's exactly the same. Ignoring that claim, however, aloe vera gel will make a good base for makeup. Have you ever put it on as an after sun treatment or just on the body and it leaves that slightly tacky, bouncy feeling on the skin? It'll be great for that. Anything that leaves that kind of feeling on your skin, one, it kind of gives this fake smoothness to the surface of the skin, but it also has that sticky texture to it. So I don't disagree with that. I disagree with all ingredients are the same. It's not quite as simple as that. Also not as deep, but I do agree that aloe vera would make a good primer.
If your makeup tends to just melt off your face in the summer, do this. It won't prevent you from sweating, but it will help keep it on. Okay.
Yeah, good point, because you can't stop your body from sweating, right? You can't stop your face from moving.
Thing you're gonna need is some sort of blurring face stick. This first step is going to help mattify, cut any shine, blur those pores, and help prevent getting oily throughout the day.
Genuinely, this is a really, I have it right here. Oh no, I don't. That's a Westman Atelier one. It's somewhere. That is a genuinely really amazing blurring product for Milk. If you have oily skin, not talking about sweat, if you have oily skin, the Pore Eclipse products from Milk, perfect.
Doesn't matter what brand it is, as long as it's a mattifying blurring face stick. I'm going to press this in anywhere that I tend to get sweaty. And you want to really push it into the pores. And to really secure it, just tap it in with your fingers. Now you want to go in with some sort of mattifying primer. This one's from KBeauty. It's my personal fave. I'm going to press this all over the face. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. You're going to take a blotting powder. It is very important that is a blotting powder, not a setting powder, not a loose powder, not a powder foundation, a blotting powder. You are going to take some of that on a brush and you are going to put it on your entire face. This is quite literally going to lock in that primer.
If you have issues with separation in your makeup, sweat ruining your makeup or oil ruining your makeup, nothing you can do with sweat, please watch out for the amounts of silicones in products that you are putting on your face. A lot of pouring, a lot of blurring primers, pore primers, all that kind of stuff can contain a lot of different silicones, dimethicone. When they pile up on top of each other, my God, they make a mess. In my opinion, I would keep it to one in one zone and one product in the and one in the other one. For example, I may use a pore blurring around this area and a mattifying primer on my T-zone. Just because you don't want to layer silicone too much, because then you may be layering also your cream blush that may have silicones, dimethicones, and they just don't sit well on top of each other.
It's really going to help with the sweat. Now, this may be the most important
Won't help with sweat.
step. You're going to take the strongest setting spray that you own, and you are going to lock in everything you just did. Yes, you can put this on before your actual base. It's totally fine.
It's better than after.
Woo! Oh, that one is so strong. Makeup's not going to go anywhere. Now we're ready for makeup. Of course, the makeup you use matters too. When choosing a foundation, choose something that is a natural to matte finish. Avoid that dewy, glowy, heavily shiny, glossy shit.
You can add a glow later. You know what I mean? You don't have to be glowing with your skincare infused. No, you can add a glow later and it can be in highlighter form. Also as well, remember with full coverage products doesn't mean you apply more. You apply the same amount, it was going to give you a full coverage.
Just going to come off. The more lightweight the product is, the better. I really like the Maybelline Super Stay. It's called Super Stay.
If you're using a lightweight product, make sure that it is a long-lasting product. A lot of the time, I don't know why, they give oily people full coverage and drier people less coverage.
For a reason, because it stays. Gives me the coverage I want, but it's super lightweight. I don't feel suffocated in the heat. It goes a long way. Look at that skin. The same thing goes for your concealer, your liquid cream blushes. Try to stick with a natural to matte finish. For instance, a cream to powder blush, a cream blush that sets as a powder, is going to be the best choice.
Watch out.
Face with a light
Watch out for silicones.
powder so we can avoid being cakey. Don't worry, it'll still give you that nice mattified finish. I kind of put it all over. Just applying all my bronzer and blush like I normally do. I know I'm going to be sweaty. I personally like to use a powder blush. It just lasts. This makeup, it's not going anywhere. It may be sunny and hot outside, but I don't have to worry about it, and neither should you.
When you're thinking of something that ruins your skin, a lot of us make the mistake. I'm going to put some contour on because I'm feeling really pale. A lot of us make the mistake of, don't do that. Why am I doing that? A lot of people make the mistake of, what am I saying? Of thinking about how they're going to stop sweating, stop sweat from coming through. You can't. Stop oil from coming through. You can't. It's a bodily function. It's like, I'm going to stop needing the toilet. You can't. It's a bodily function, right? Unless you constipate yourself. So think about how, I always say this, how are you going to repair rather than prevent?
I'm going to show you guys how to get a flawless base using a beauty blender. Loads of people will tell you need to damp it, you need to soak it, you need to get it really wet. I personally don't like doing that.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. Okay. no hate to this person, but if we're going to talk about skin, can we please turn off that beauty filter or use a higher quality camera, because this looks blurry and you see an occasional pore that then disappears. Let me start that again because I wasn't listening.
I'm going to show you guys how to get a flawless base using a beauty blender. Loads of people will tell you need to damp it, you need to soak it, you need to get it really wet. I personally don't like doing that. I use a completely different product.
Okay, so before we go into this, you shouldn't soak your beauty blender. It shouldn't be, you know, wet with water. It should be not even damp. It should be borderline dry. You just want your sponge to be bigger. You want it to have that bounce. And there's going to be some moisture in it, which helps stop absorption of product. That's why you shouldn't have a soaking wet beauty blender. It should be like touch dry, but big and puffy.
Before I do anything, I prep my skin with all my skincare. I then put on the e.l.f. Poreless Primer and the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Setting Spray. I put that all over my face.
I love that people are using setting sprays before their makeup. It makes such a huge difference.
I'm going to take my beauty blender and on the flat side, I spray the setting spray. Like so, just a couple of spritz, not so it's soaking. I'm then going to take the foundation on the back of my hand, press my beauty blender in it and press it directly on the face. So that's quick motions, just all over the face very lightly. You can see already comparing the two sides, this has a gorgeous glow and it's melting into my skin.
Can't really see, to be honest. It's a bit blurry.
Can't see texture and it doesn't look cakey. Then use the same technique to press in my concealer. So I take the corner end of the beauty blender and I just press it all over the eye area where I put my concealer. And you can see the base is glowing and there is minimal texture.
I just want to say something about mixing in setting sprays with your foundation. Don't mix things in with your foundation and then complain that it isn't doing what it's meant to do. It's not lasting as long. It's not. A lot of products aren't formulated to be mixed in with something else. So if you try this and you love it, great. However, if you try something and it's like, it's not working, my foundation doesn't work, don't mix in products with your foundations if you want it to be how it's meant to be. She loves it. I can't tell because the skin looks the same as it did before, just a different shade now, because of whatever's going on the screen. I personally, I think that was the Real Techniques sponge. That is like a brick sometimes. It's quite dense in the middle. And that kind of hard pat on the face, I don't know, I'm not really into it.
YouTube Sparkle with Sophie for loads more.
Okay, so I was tagged in this, right? Okay, bronzing, which I guess is like brush bronzing. Let me watch this. The caption says, let me know if you want product shade recommendations, how to bronze for the no makeup girlies. I don't contour with bronzing. It's meant to simplify your makeup look, in my opinion, but let me know if you disagree with me. So bronzing is using a blush that has a kind of like bronzy tone to it, right? So it looks warm to me is red, sun-kissed, all that kind of stuff without having to use bronzer and stuff.
Every video I've seen on bronzing is either wrong or overcomplicated. You only need one product and it's all about the shade. As a no makeup skin tint loving girly, I've been doing this for years. I'm just wearing a skin tint on my face right now, so let's get into it. Dark or deep blush color, where you would usually contour, just go a bit higher up so you're following that cheekbone.
But then that's just applying blush, right?
Take it up into the temple. Make sure you're hitting the apple of your cheek, the ball of your cheek. I can't remember what this is called. Obviously, if you've got blush blindness, you're going to do way more than that. But for me, that's all I do because, like I said, no makeup gal. And if you compare the two sides, that side looks lifted. That's literally all you need to sculpt your face, especially if you're just wearing a skin tint.
I mean, it looks great on her, but it is just blush. I wouldn't say that was bronzing. I hate these words. I hate these words so much. Blontour was the other one, wasn't it? That's just applying blush, no? Even that shade is quite pink. Like, I wouldn't say it's that it has the depth of a bronzier tone. Day 6 of normalizing makeup for men. Usually when people do this, they just get their friends to stop and talk to them. I wouldn't use that brush with that product because it's an angle brush and it's not really blending it in properly. use your finger. The brushes you're using are so stubby. Different, it's a wrong color. It's the wrong color. It's nice makeup, it's very subtle. However, there's nothing normal about setting up your phone on a train platform and recording yourself doing your makeup. You're not normalizing it. You're just doing it. Okay, the correct way to curl lashes. Okay, let's see.
If you are curling your eyelashes like this, you're doing it wrong. Curling your lashes like that and holding a crimp in one spot is going to break your lashes over time. It's also not going to give you the most natural curl. It's just literally going to have a crimp in it. There's a better way to do it. What you want to do is place your lash curler on, start at the base of your lash, and start with little presses at the base of your lash. Then move it on up a little bit and start pressing a little higher. Now bring it up a little bit more and little presses, and bring it up a little bit more and little presses. And you're going to do that all the way through the lash. So you're going to move it and do tiny presses. It actually works much better than this way, and it's a lot gentler and safer for your lashes.
It won't really break your lashes unless you haven't got like the spongy guard thing in, or if you're wearing mascara and curling your lashes. She's correct, 100% correct. So if you think about holding and crimping your lash, right, it's just going to do this. So you're crimping in that one place and holding that one place down. If you're pulling out like this, holding, crimping, you're going to get a more of a slope to the lashes, which is a lot more realistic looking anyway, but it's also a lot more, what's the word? Smoother. It gives you more of a smoother lift. It's also great if you tend to have those lashes where you'll you know, do one curl and they kind of just go this way. If you pull upwards, not pull, you're not meant to crimp, pull, you're meant to like crimp, let go, go up, let go, go up, let go. It gives you a much more of a smoother lift. Please join us in 2024 when we stop doing shit that damages our face, even though people still do that. That's like, why are you doing that? Like, genuinely, why are you doing that? Like, what's the point? Like, it's so dumb. And it doesn't, people be like, oh yeah, but it plumps up the lip. It doesn't. It does it for like 5 minutes and that's it. Like, it doesn't plump the lip. That's so stupid. Ugh. Oh well, it's their face. Okay, well thank you so much for joining me. Please send me anything via a message or tag me in it in any of your socials so I can have a little look. Thank you so much for joining me. Do consider subscribing. Give this video a thumbs up and I will see you very, very soon. Bye.